Alright, so it's been about 2 years since I decided to start working out almost every single day, and I have to say, when I first started, I did it just to challenge myself and to get into better shape, but what I've realized is that the reason why I still keep it up 2 years later is not for the same reason I started this in the first place. And I think that this is overlooked pretty often because people always seem surprised when I tell them that I exercise daily instead of maybe every other day or only a few times a week. So in this video, I'm just gonna share my 3 favorite things about working out and how it benefits me almost every single day, since getting in shape is really only a fraction of the benefit that we get. Now, I do have to say, before I started working out, just like most people who never go to the gym, I used to hate working out, and back then, that physical stress just did not seem enjoyable to me. And even though I knew exercise was good for me and it was the right thing to do, I always seemed to have some type of excuse as to why I couldn't do it. And they were all really lame excuses, like I either didn't have enough time, or I didn't have the energy, or I didn't know how to do it, and I needed a personal trainer because it was too complicated. All of these were just a bunch of excuses I was coming up with in order to make myself feel better about taking the easy way out. And that brings me to my first favorite benefit, the no excuses mindset. This is hands down my favorite benefit because when you work out every single day, even on days that you don't want to, it trains your mind to stop thinking about what's going to make you feel better and instead trains your mind to think about what's going to make you be better. Personally, I see life as one big trick because our minds are constantly pushing us to pleasure ourselves, find comfort, and just avoid any risk. And this is almost instinctive for every single human on planet Earth, so I don't think there's any need to feel bad about this. It's literally how our brains are wired. But that's also why I think it can be so tricky, because feeling good and doing what's good are not the same thing. Most of the time, what's going to actually make us be better actually requires a lot of discomfort. Now, whatever it is in life, whether it be sports, business, or creativity, we all have to push ourselves to uncomfortable limits in order to see where our potential truly is. Now, all I can say for myself is that I feel like a lot of those times I've avoided those uncomfortable situations, it's not because I didn't know what was best for me. It was because that little voice in my head was coming up with excuses for me without me even realizing it. And that's why I think working out has just been so beneficial, because it literally trains your subconscious mind, that annoying little voice in your head that keeps pulling you back, to just shut up and deal with it over and over and over again. And when you do that every single day, that little voice eventually learns to just shut up and stop talking because you're gonna do what's best anyways. All right, I do think it's important to mention that we all still slip up sometimes. Even I still slip up sometimes, and I'll catch myself scrolling through social media on Instagram when I'm trying to get work done and just being lazy on certain days. But what's important to remember is that I feel like it's way easier to catch myself in those situations and when they start to happen, so that I can prevent it from snowballing out of control and actually take control of the situation. So yeah, in my experience, the mindset we have to get into for working out has spread into all other areas of my life. And it's been an absolute game changer when it comes into getting in the habit of just making the best choices in life and what is best for me. Even if it requires more effort, more suffering, and more problems, instead of prioritizing what makes me feel better, I now catch myself prioritizing what makes me be better a lot more often. Now, for example, I used to have a hard time working on things I didn't enjoy, but now I rarely question myself. If I know I have to do 2 or 3 days of head down research into scientific journals, if I have to write a dozen scripts for new videos, or if I have to sit down for a month to film 50 or 60 videos for a new course, I don't really even think twice about it anymore. I just shut up and I do the work. I don't wait until tomorrow. I don't come up with excuses. I just do what's best because I know that that is the right thing to do. And I can honestly say that before I started working out, any of those things would have seemed like an absolute nightmare to me. So that brings me to benefit number 2. And I think that when you combine this benefit with the no excuses mindset, it pretty much turns into a multiplier. And the benefit I'm talking about is mental clarity. It's no secret that an active lifestyle makes us more physically capable, but what I didn't expect was the massive improvement in my mental capabilities as well. I can say that without a doubt, exercise has had a huge impact on the clarity of mind, my creative ideas, and my overall abilities to get difficult problems solved. And this isn't just me saying this either. Science has literally shown that exercise plays a huge role in neural plasticity. Now, if you don't know what that means, basically a plastic brain is a brain that is extremely good at learning new things and forming new neural pathways required to help the brain grow. Now, this is why people say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and it's why kids learn things extremely fast. The truth is as we get older, it just gets harder to learn new things, and that's because our brains aren't as moldable as they once used to be. But the good news is that studies on this subject have shown that working out is one of the best things that we can do in order to increase our brain's nerve growth factor, with results showing up to a 60% improvement right after we exercise. Personally, all I can say about this is that I definitely feel sharper on days that I work out versus days that I don't. And I'm the type of person that likes to optimize things, whether that's my business, my health, or my mind. And I just like to find hacks that give me the maximum potential of what I'm working with. So the fact that exercise helps me perform better mentally is a huge reason of why I continue to keep it up. And I've noticed that it just gives me more energy to push through the difficult tasks that I face with work and in my business almost every single day. So I know this might sound crazy, but I honestly don't think I would have ever been able to build any of the businesses that I currently have if it wasn't for my consistent workout routine. And the funny thing is that even though working out takes some time out of our days, the longer and harder that I work out, the more productive I end up being afterwards, and the more stuff I end up getting done that day somehow. And I've noticed that the times in my life where I just had the craziest workout routines also happened to be the exact same times in my life that I made the most progress physically, mentally, financially, in my business, and just in life as a whole. Those times that I'm in the zone, I'm flowing, and I'm pushing myself as much as possible are the times that I end up doing some of my best work. Which brings me to my last favorite benefit, and I feel like this is an obvious one, and that is just the feeling of being healthy. When I first started working out, it was definitely a drag, but I now just really appreciate the feeling of being healthy inside and out, and it just makes me feel like a more capable human. And it's a bit hard to explain, but I guess you could say that I feel more grounded in my own skin. It's like you can really feel and control every single part of your body, and you start to feel muscles that you never even knew existed before. I guess you could say it's an overall feeling that makes you feel not only more physically capable, but also more mentally capable. And I'm not sure where I heard this, but I think this was said really well. And what this person said was, when you work out, your muscles are obviously getting stronger, but your mind has a hard time distinguishing your muscles from yourself. Like, as far as you know, your body that's just a part of you. So when your muscles get stronger, you don't walk around thinking, oh, I have strong muscles. Instead, you walk around and you start thinking, I am strong, and I am powerful, and I am capable of doing things. And I think that is so true, and that's part of the reason why I think working out is such a crucial factor to building self-confidence. And I think the important part to remember out of all of this is that it is always hard in the beginning. We all have that little voice in our head that comes up with excuses for us so that we stay in our heads and inside of our deadly comfort zone. And that's why I believe the best way to get started is to just go every single day. And I know a lot of people try and tell me that easing into things is the best way to do it, but in my experience, that has just never been the case. Whenever I want to start something difficult, I always just jump in with both feet and do whatever I can to prevent myself from looking back. Whenever I have eased into things, it was always way too easy for me to slide back into my normal routine. And I think we've all heard the term of being in a slippery slope, and that's how I feel like these things go as well. If we can get up and over the slope and out of it, it will be a lot easier than trying to climb out of it slowly. Now, we have to run like hell in order to get to the other side of the slope, but once we're there, it's a lot easier to avoid falling back in. And that's why I work out every single day. If I'm not sick or injured, I'm out there and I'm doing something. And that's the important part, is to just do something. There's really no need to overcomplicate any of it. If I have a gym, I'll go lift weights. If I don't, I'll go on a run. But whatever it is and wherever I am, when I wake up, I jump out of bed, get right into something physically challenging so that when I face mental challenges later on in the day, I have the confidence, energy, and clarity to handle it.
But I just like moving my body, man. I like running up hills. You move your body. Same. Get it going. You'll feel better afterwards. I know you don't want to do it. I can hardly ever want to do it. I maybe want to actually do it 5 out of 10 times. But I do
maybe
it.
Less. Yeah.
But I do it. I just do it. I know what it's like to not want to do it. I get it. Shut up. I just start talking to myself. I go, come on, see, what are you talking about?
Do it.
If I was you, outside of you, knowing what I know, if I could read my mind, I'd be like, come on, you're just being lazy. Put your fucking shoes on. Yeah. Get a sweat going, and then you're going to feel pumped. Come on, man. You've done this a million times. And then invariably, I'll be in the middle of the workout. I'm sweating. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
And then I get into it. It's like, you got to push past that creepy resistance.